We're recording.
Yay!
Hello, Reborn Collector. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, to anyone who's watching, hi, you probably know me. I'm Jeanette with Stardust and Moonlight Reborn Dolls, and today is the very exciting day of the first video of my Reborn Collectors series. So I've discussed this on my channel before where I want to have a series of Reborn Collectors where I interview collectors about their journey in this hobby and doing the same thing with Reborn artists. So today we have one of the most special people ever who is going to be our first interview. I'm going to pass it to her to introduce her and ask questions.
Hello, my name is Monica. I've been a reborn collector for probably 12 years. Um, and I'm excited to be doing this with you today.
Nice. Well, Monica, 12 years is a really long time. So the first thing that comes to mind, I have a lot of questions that I want to get into. The first thing that comes to mind is, what do you think is the biggest change or changes that you've seen since you've collected that time?
Um, I would have to say the price. Like when I first started collecting, um, they were a lot more affordable then. And it just seems like over the last 12 years, it's just blown up. Like, so probably the price is the most, and scammers. Scammers have gotten way out of hand now too.
Were there scammers at all, like 12 years ago? Like, do you remember any kind of scamming that happened?
Not really, but I mean, it doesn't mean that they weren't. Just maybe that I was just so new to the community that I really didn't pay attention that much to it.
Hmm.
But it doesn't seem like there was near as many as there are now.
And there's so many different scamming, right? Like um there's people who scam and say they're selling a doll, but they never actually have it, and they trick
Mhm.
people. And then there's scammers who buy dolls from artists and they try to get their money back through chargebacks and things like that. And then there's those who are creating counterfeit kits from the sculpts that are out. So yeah, there's a lot of different things going on. It's pretty sad.
It really is because these dolls and not to everyone, but these dolls mean a lot to some people. They actually change lives. You know, they changed my life. So for someone to scam on something that is so important, I think is like a newfound low.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't agree with you more. I think when anyone has like a YouTube channel and puts content out, there are there's always that ism, like Jeanette isms, or just something to say at nauseum. And one thing is that I say often is that this is such an emotional purchase. It's such an emotional hobby.
Yeah.
So I agree because I feel like um there's scamming or there's, deception in any hobby or any, but with this one, you just imagine someone coming into this and being amazed at the first time. Perhaps they came across this because of a loss of a child or something really traumatic that they're hoping this will fill a void for, and then they are scammed. Um, it's just like the thought of it and how it impacts every single individual, even for someone who comes into the hobby for fun. And like their first experiences is navigating shark infested waters. It makes me so upset.
Exactly. Like uh, people that get into this for emotional reasons, you know, and for them to have a bad experience, especially their first time, what could potentially put them off altogether. and then they're not going to get that healing help that these dolls provide some people.
Yeah. I love how you bring that up because I'm on the side of, I think there's considered to be two sides of this hobby where there's those that really get some emotional support from the dolls, and then those who just simply enjoy the art of it. And I've always been more on the side of the art of it, but I've always said, even those who look for art, they're lying to you if they're saying that it's not giving them emotional support. I mean, holding a baby, holding a lifelike doll that feels like a baby, it gives us all the feels. And that's why
Right.
we don't do it just because we are. That might be our biggest excuse or draw to the hobby. We're fascinated with the amazing art of it, but it does give us the feels. Like it does.
Right. And when I'm holding him, it it's comforting. I can be at work all day and have a stressful day, and then come home and pick him up, and it just melts away for me. I understand that he isn't real, but to me, he is real.
Yeah.
He makes me feel better.
And you treat him so good, like a real baby.
I
Let's
do.
let's take a minute and like show him a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone can see him well enough, but this is a full body silicone and he is so beautiful. There he is. He's so cute.
My little Kyron.
And I happen to know just firsthand sculpt, obviously, because my little Everett's been on my channel, but um he's getting a new sister in what about
Yeah. Yeah. It he's or she is the Tyler sculpt. I cannot for the life of me remember who the sculptor is. But Live in Reborn Dolls is the one that is painting her for me. And she will be done. I found out today she will be done Tuesday.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
I'm so lucky to be on that journey with you. Of course, I mean, we are best friends forever.
of
Um,
course.
yeah. And by the way, everybody, I do talk about my best friend often on my channel. This is my best friend. And in some of those times, like explain that we met through this hobby. And
Hmm.
so we're not just dolls, we have this in common, but we're like literally like she's top people besides my kids that if I ever die, I will be haunting. So anyway, so yeah, I'm excited for you. I've been able to see those progress pictures. And okay, so let's go back 12 years ago
Hmm.
to a younger Monica who's just like eyes are huge, just entered this world. But how did you even find out about it? That's always so different for everybody.
Okay, so I was having a lot of issues back then. Like I had just gotten married, and I've I had to have hysterectomy a long time ago when I was 27. And um so my fundamental reason for being a female, I felt like it was taken away from me. I couldn't create life. And being a newlywed and, him having small kids already, I felt like I needed to give him that, and I couldn't, obviously, because I had had the surgery. So I was in, a funk and a lot of depression and, um, feeling really bad about it. And I talked to a friend about it, and she had told me about Reborn Dolls. And she gave me a few um, nursery names and stuff like that. And that's how I got into them.
Ah, that's kind of neat. So it was a friend that you like in person, not like an online friend.
And it was an online friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
because
was an online friend.
how people discover them either from somebody, that they know online. So that's interesting because that's the case with you too.
Hmm.
And can you think back to your first baby?
Yes, it was. Oh, I knew you were going to ask me the question. Okay, can't think of the name of the sculpture right offhand. Oh, crap.
Saskia.
Huh?
Saskia?
No, 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 no. It was I named her Emma, but I can't think of the name. She's a long sold out kit now. Um, but she was amazing. Like when I first got her, I did the whole crying thing and I loved her to death. And there is nothing like your very first reborn. Even if you end up trading her, which I did and have regretted this entire 12-year journey. I have regretted getting rid of her. Um, there's nothing like your first one. I've yet to find that bond again. I take that back. I have that with him. I've had him going on 2 years now. And, but it took me that long to find it again. But I can remember just that feeling of wholeness and completeness when I held her for the first time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Could make
And
me cry.
I know, and wonder, so we know about each other, but like when I first got into the hobby, I found it through a TV show, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But um when I got my first one, it was so freaking exciting. Like I remember that, like you were talking about it, you do not forget that feeling. And I think we can find a bond with the next one. It's not gonna have that newness to it, like that,
Right.
not knowing what to expect. Like you don't know how you're gonna feel. You don't know what the baby really is gonna look like. Um, yeah. So I get that. That's something I can totally relate to, and I miss that. I don't know if I can ever get that back. So
It's hard to get back that first time feeling. You
yeah. So I mean, here for anyone who's new to collecting or who hasn't had their first reborn yet, which I know there's going to be some of you watching because I get those messages. Really cherish it. Don't rush it. Don't rush the box opening.
No, take your time.
Yeah. Do it in a private place, maybe, unless you're more comfortable doing it with someone and sharing it with someone, but really just enjoy that moment.
And you know what else helps? And this is not just with your first baby, but have like a little baby shower like the week before. It just makes it more exciting. And now me personally, I like to have someone around when I'm doing the box opening. I want to share that joy with other people. And the like the little um baby shower that you have beforehand just gets you so excited for it, and you do the whole nesting thing, you wash their clothes and you fix up their sleeping area and all that stuff, and it just makes it more exciting.
Sounds like such a good idea. I wish I thought about that. It sounds like a lot of fun. And I agree. It can be really fun to um, share the box opening with other people. Like you and me were just talking about that for us, like trying to figure out how we're going to be for yours. But I think like when someone's new to this hobby, I'm just thinking of their family, maybe their other, whatever. And a lot of people just understand this and think it's
Right.
strange or something. So you don't want to share the moment with someone like that,
Well,
like,
most definitely, if you don't have a support system in place, don't share. I mean, because it could potentially ruin the experience for you. But if you have people that are behind you 100%, then definitely share it with them because it's going to make the experience that much better.
cool. I think that's good advice. Speaking of advice, do you mind if I share how you take your babies out?
No, not at all.
Because I think that will be so helpful. I think that's a question I hear so much on the reborn doll groups. How do you encourage this? I myself did that at one time, and you have helped me own this a little more, and you inspired me to actually go out with dolls. So what would you tell the audience or anyone watching who never experienced that. Like, how do you get over the fear of it? How do you get the I don't care what people think attitude and just do it?
It definitely takes practice. When I first started doing it, I was nervous and I was afraid what people might think. You know, me being a grown woman carrying a baby doll around. But I have found in my experience that there are more positive reactions than there are negative ones. You know, the very few negative ones that you get are just ignorant people. I mean, I hate to be so blunt about it, but it's the truth. You know, they don't want to know about it and they don't care to know about it, so they spout their ignorance. But like I said, there are so many more positive experiences and reactions that it's worth it. And it, in a way, it kind of makes me feel validated by having him when I get the positive reactions. And you get to a point to where it's normal. Like I take him out so much that when I leave him at home, I feel guilty. You know, if I have to go somewhere that I can't take him, I feel guilty.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so the way that you're describing it makes me feel like the the manner in which you do it is you kind of take them out, but then like you full on tell people or they say cute baby, oh, it's not a real baby. Is that how you do it?
I do. If someone is just like passing by and says, "Oh, so cute," and they don't stop, then I just let them think what they want. But if someone stops and they're like, "Oh, how old is the baby?" then I'll look at them and, you know, kind of get like a conspiratorial, you know, attitude. I'll be like, "He's not real. He's a full body silicone," you know, and then they're like, "What?" You know, and they're all, "No way." You know, and then they have to touch him and, you know, sometimes they'll ask to hold him and then sometimes they'll ask me why.
Okay.
Um
I was gonna ask
when
that. I was gonna ask
okay.
if you do anything about it. Yeah.
When they ask me why, I tell them that um I had to have a hysterectomy at a young age and I wasn't done having children. Um and it caused me to have some anxiety and depression. And having him helps me. And 99.9% of people accept that explanation and they're like, "Oh, well, whatever helps you. You know, don't you worry about what anybody else says." I've had people stand up on soapboxes for me, you know, you're like, "Whatever helps you." So, I mean, people are generally really understanding.
That's so good to know. I think the biggest fear for people is one, if someone realizes it's fake and how to explain that, like you feel kind of trapped. But it sounds like you just kind of have to go through that experience to handle it and to get over that fear because it's never going to be that bad. Like what was that 2 days ago when you're shipping a baby to me
Hmm.
and the lady, what did the post office lady?
Well, she was wrapped in a baby blanket. So she was, you know, suspicious that I'm getting ready to put this baby in a box. So she's like, "I'm not trying to really be nosy, but I kind of have to see what you have in the blanket." So I opened it and told her it was a full body silicone. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, can I touch it?" And I was like, "Sure." So she squeezed her arm a little bit and everything. And she was like, "It looks like a dead baby." And for me, that is the most hurtful comment that anyone can say. And even though I wasn't fond of this baby, it still hurt me to hear somebody say that,
Yeah.
you know, and so I was like, and I told her that. I was like, "I really hate it when people say that." You know, these dolls are for emotional support for a lot of people, and that's a really insensitive thing to say, you know, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," you know, and she was really apologetic and then I felt bad for even saying anything, but I guess I was in a mood or something that day.
No,
But yeah, that's the worst comment ever.
yeah, I love that you do that because I think sometimes when we do confront people who react verbally without thinking, you know, you need that. I've needed that in my life. We know I don't have the best filter. So those kind of comments and reactions bug me so badly, but I also have to put in their shoes. And honestly, I would want someone to, you know what, that's kind of mean. And, you know, like I had that happen. I was telling you um, that I was visiting my mom who is in a physical rehab place because she had a major injury and surgery. So anyway, I was sitting in there rooting a silicone doll, and I had really positive responses, and that surprised me because I literally had this naked baby on my lap, and I'm in my mom's like room, her hospital room, right? And people are walking like by the door, so they can't, they're not close up, and I'm stabbing its head with a needle. So the fact that, you know, I was getting reactions was actually shocking. But there was one nurse who said that is the ugliest thing. Ugh, you know, and I'm like, whoa, you know, I didn't paint this particular baby, but I'm rooting it, and if I had painted it, that would have killed me because, you know, it was a comment. And so I told her, you know, people work really hard on these dolls. I know this, and that is a really mean comment.
Yeah.
So she apologized. Oh, they just creep me out. And I said, I get that. Uncanny Valley, be realistic.
Hmm.
Love that you gave your perspective because I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid to enjoy these dolls and take them out places. It's super fun to fool people. I have
Hmm.
about like where to go from the point of someone like knowing it's not real, but I always had in the back of my head that I had this weapon. The weapon is that I'm an artist. So if someone saw this baby wasn't real, I have that like security blanket of saying, oh, well, I'm an artist and I love to take them out so I can show people what they are, right? But not everyone has that. And your perspective of a collector and being able to like be in those situations and just calmly explain, still feel confident. I think that's like cool. I mean, for me, that's cool because I want to get to where you are.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I want to keep these interviews to 25 to 30-minute range. We're close. So I want to ask, um, what is one of your experiences that you think about 12 years of collecting?
What is one of my what? You broke up. I'm sorry.
Your favorite experience?
Okay. Um, I don't I don't really know. It was probably the first silicone I ever got because I had collected vinyls for probably the first 6 years, maybe 7, maybe. And so when I got my first silicone, it was the Tiana Sculpt, and he was so tiny. You know, I expected him to be bigger. You know, I'm a little more. I like the bigger babies, but it was amazing, and I cried when I opened him too, just because he was so soft and so realistic, and that probably that moment is when I knew that silicone babies were pretty much it for me.
You are such a good mom. Like you try to dabble back in vinyl, but we all know you're just silicone mom.
Yeah, because some of the silicone babies are just so cute, and
Oh,
I'm like, I could so love it, and then I get it, and I'm like, but it's not silicone.
oh yeah, vinyl baby. I know. It's really hard. Like silicone is a game changer for so many people on both sides of the spectrum. So I think in most cases, once you get silicone, you're like, oh my God, like a real baby, I can't go back. But I've
Yeah,
had people who have the opposite. Like they get a silicone because they're really curious and they think it's going to be a game changer, and it is. But in the do not like it, they're just and I don't really get that. It happens.
I don't get that either because to me, for me, silicones are the ultimate in realism. You know, I can give him a bath and put him in really warm water, and then when you take him out and wrap him up in a towel, you absolutely cannot tell that he's not real because he's warm, and with silicone being warm, it actually feels like real skin. I couldn't imagine someone not liking silicone. That's just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's hard. And you taught me that trick. You taught me that trick of giving them a warm bath.
Mhm.
Um, what is one of the biggest things you think you've learned in this hobby? Good or bad?
Um, Probably not to judge a book by its cover. And the reason I say that is because no matter how good the packaging looks, the inside can be spoiled. And and I say that based off of an experience that I recently had. Um, I don't want to call names or anything like that. It's just an experience that I had with another doll, and you know, the person came highly recommended, very popular in the community, and I was extremely disappointed. So thoroughly vet anyone that you are going to be buying off of. Even if you think, you know, that you've done your job vetting, make sure that you vet further.
Yeah.
I do. Can I put a positive note on that too, though?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of the positives that I've learned in the last 12 years is that, you know, on that same token, not to judge a book by its cover, because I have met professional women and actually one guy that was like a businessman and has like six of these. So definitely don't judge people. I mean, because you never know what's going on in their life.
I'm so into this is kind of about me that's weird, but I am so into males being a hobby because first of all, most collectors are so weary of males being in this hobby and it's fair right off the bat. But like there's this guy on YouTube, I don't think he does anymore. And he like really into reborn dolls and he gets like prototype one. And I just think it's like so cool to watch him. I'll have to send you his link. I don't know if you've ever seen him. I don't remember his name. But yeah, I'm really into that. So I get really excited when I see that happening because it's just cool. Like we need more
It
guys.
is cool. We do need more guy collectors. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a male playing with a baby doll.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish we can have the kind of attitude that like, okay, let's talk about cars. You know, that's a very stereotypical male hobby, right? When
Right.
women are into cars, that's hot for guys. Like they love that, you know?
Right.
So why can't we direct that to this? Yeah, I think
Well,
it's
we can. I think it's hot for a guy to be into babies because it makes him sensitive and caring and nurturing. Who doesn't want that in a man?
right. Yeah, that's exactly why I was telling you. Remember, I sent you the video the other day, and I'm like, this is my dream man. And
Yeah.
looking, but it wasn't that. It was that he was rescuing dogs and he was compassionate. I'm like, if a man can love an animal like that, I'm in.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, no, that's really cool. I love that you said that. I love how you warned about vetting and vetting further. Can you think
Hmm.
tip maybe that you can think of that would go beyond the normal vetting for a reborn artist? Like, what are some, I don't want to say sneaky things, but additional things you can do to like further that?
Um, definitely check their nursery pages, read the reviews. Those are the obvious things. But talk to some of their past customers.
Ooh,
Um, See if you can find some of their past customers. That is where you're going to find the real scoop on an artist. And posts too, you know, past customer posts. If you can't speak to them in person, um, or on Facebook or whatever, um, just do as much of it. There is never too much investigating that you can do, because these dolls are not only a whole lot of money, but they are an emotional, like you said, they're an emotional investment for a lot of people. And I've had my heart broken in this hobby, and it's not any fun. So make sure you do your homework.
that's good advice. And you can search for previous customers for an artist, like their nursery page on Facebook, for example. Like you can put the name of the artist in the search tab. You can go to posts, and you'll see all the posts for the last several years have that artist name. So like what Monica's trying to say is just really go down the rabbit hole of really vetting the kind of work and consistency and integrity. That's what I talk about, because we expect our to have talent, but we need to expect to have integrity as
well. Yes.
And not only did you have experience in terms of your expectations with the painting, but it was also a very dramatic process where you had very little input, right? And it was taking ever. It was an ungodly amount of time. And so you don't want those to happen with you to you. And unfortunately, you know until you get a deposit how it's. So if something does happen to you, that's not your fault, but hopefully you'll find ways to avoid it.
Right.
Well, we're just to the end of it, but is there anything that you would want anyone to know, or have anything you want to share, like page, or do you have a YouTube channel or anything like that?
I have a YouTube channel, but I work so much, I'm not extremely active on it. Anybody is more than welcome to add me on Facebook. If you have any questions or you just want a reborn mom friend, I'm open for that too.
She's the best mom friend. And I am absolutely biased, but it's also absolutely true. She's the best friend you can ever ask for. And don't make me get jealous if you become friends with her, because I will. My claws will come out. She's mine. No, that's really cool. And that's why I'm doing this. Like, I think it's so neat to be able to see, we share dolls and stuff all the time, like on YouTube, Facebook, but we never really see the person that
Right.
doll. So I think it's neat to kind of meet the people behind the collecting, and maybe so different channel. And for you, like interviews kind of for how emotional these dolls are. And then, I might get a collector down the line who is simply just incredibly admiring the art. They don't handle their baby. So there's so many perspectives.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for being my very first pioneer.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. I was hoping to be the first. I should be the first. You're my best friend.
No. Yep, it's gonna be great. And I am excited to do this. Hope it takes off a little bit. And if you have any questions for me, or you'd like to get in touch with Monica and connect, we can put like a link or something to get a hold of her in the comments once I upload this. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, because there will be more of these. And Monica, I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you too. You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye.